Should I trade my Scout for this bike? Roll that intro.
I am Anonymous Biker USA.
Well, we've all had some time to settle in and look at all the new 2022 Indian Chief models. And I'm going to tell you my impressions from a Scout owner's perspective. First impressions? I love the way it looks. Reminds me a lot of a Scout. But looking closer, we can see the steel frame, air-cooled engine, and the power plant that is the 111 in the base model. I know how much punch a stock Scout has, and it has plenty. So when I saw this bike with that engine, my first thought was, torque monster. It surely has more pop than a Scout, but is it that much more for me to want to trade? Let's look at some of the other items with this Chief before I answer that question. The base Chief is $14,499, but doesn't offer the 4-inch ride command, or have a 116 like some of the other Chief models. So the difference from a base Chief to base Scout in price at $11,499 to $14,999. Liquid cooled versus air cooled. 3.3 gallon tank for the Scout as opposed to a 4-gallon tank for the Chief. 670 pounds wet for the Chief versus 561 for the Scout. The Scout has 100 horsepower at 72 foot-pound of torque in a 69 cubic inch engine, while the Chief has 108 foot-pounds of torque in a 111 cubic inch engine. Horsepower isn't listed for the Chief. The Chief has LED lights versus traditional lighting on the Scout. And the Chief has cruise control, which I wish the Scout had for those longer mileage days. Chief has a fuel gauge, while the Scout does not, only a lamp indicator. And the Chief has ride modes and rear cylinder deactivation. So if I was to buy one of these bikes today, which would I buy? Neither. I think the Scout has much better paint options with the two-tone options, and you all know how much I love my two-tone Scout. But base-to-base comparisons, I would go for the Chief Bobber Dark Horse with the 116 if I didn't already own a Scout. I know it's more pricey, but it sure is an awesome bike. I would go with the 116 Dark Horse for a couple of reasons. Yeah, it has more power, and I know I said my Scout has plenty, and it does. But if I didn't own one, it would be nice to have a little more oomph behind the engine. And it comes with the 4-inch Ride Command touchscreen, which would eliminate my GPS on the handlebars and give it more of a streamlined look, and it's all in one place. Hands down though, I still love my Scout, and I think it's one of the best value buys on the market. Now let's get back to the original question. Would I trade my Scout for the $15,000 Indian Chief base model? My Scout, as I have it set up, already has tons more features than a base Chief. I have a GPS, throttle boss, and over 30 other upgrades that make my Scout much more valuable to me than a base Chief. The one thing I like is that cruise control and more torque. But with the stage 1 or 2 on my Scout, I wouldn't miss much of anything. In fact, my stock Scout has all the power I need. So I would not trade my 2017 Scout as it sits today on a base 2022 Indian Chief. My Scout is one of the most fun bikes I've ever ridden, and everywhere I go people comment on it. The two-tone paint, white walls, wire wheels make my Scout a showstopper to me. I think the Chief is awesome, and for me it's the 116 Dark Horse. But for now, I'll hold on to my Scout a little while longer. Because the Scout is just that good. Don't forget,
I am Anonymous Biker USA.